Have you ever stopped to think that not every mansion represents status, comfort, or luxury? Some of these properties hold much more than just history. They carry echoes, voices that never seem to have left, silences that weigh heavily, and presences no one can explain. Today you're coming with me into some of the largest and most haunted properties ever recorded. These are mansions, castles, palaces, and even entire islands, places that impress with their size, but haunt with what they hide. Some are still in use. Others have been abandoned or turned into tourist attractions. But they all share something in common, a discomfort that goes beyond the natural. This is a journey that only gets more intense with each step. And at the top of the list is a place where, according to legend, evil wasn't just felt, it was sealed inside. Stay with me until the end, and see why number 1 is considered one of the most dangerous doorways ever built by human hands. Sallie House, Atchison, United States. In the quiet town of Atchison, Kansas, the Sallie House looks like a modest home. But behind its simple exterior lies a dark past that made it one of the most infamous haunted houses in the country. Built in the late 19th century, it was home to several doctors over the years. The turning point came after a supposed tragedy involving a little girl named Sally. No official records confirm what happened, but the stories that followed attracted ghost hunters and paranormal researchers from across the nation. The house has 2 floors, a basement, an old attic, and about 5 main rooms. It's made of wood, with many original elements intact, like the stair railings, door frames, and floorboards. While well preserved, it remains closed to the general public and is used mainly for guided investigations. Visitors enter through a small front room that leads to the kitchen and a narrow staircase. Upstairs, the halls are short and stuffy. The basement has low ceilings, peeling brick walls, and a strong smell of mold. Real concerns include poor electrical wiring and weak sound insulation, which heightens the sense of vulnerability. People have reported sudden temperature drops and strange malfunctions in electronic equipment. The atmosphere is silent but heavy. The air feels thick, and many guests have reported nausea or pressure in their heads. One detail stands out, an old mirror on the 2nd floor, where some claim to have seen unfamiliar reflections. Common reports include scratches appearing on visitors' bodies, footsteps in empty rooms, and toys that move on their own. These occurrences were never proven, but have become consistent enough to form a pattern. The Sallie House has been featured on paranormal shows like Ghost Adventures and remains a key destination for ghost tourism in the US. What makes it even stranger, despite the stories, people keep coming back, many swearing they feel something the moment they step through the door. If that house made you uneasy, the next location takes us to a royal residence, but one few would dare to rule. Hampton Court Palace, London, England. Along the banks of the River Thames just outside London, Hampton Court Palace is one of the most iconic structures from the Tudor era, and also one of the most spiritually charged places in Europe. Built in the 16th century, the palace served as the royal residence for historical figures like King Henry VIII. Within its walls, betrayals, political intrigue, forced separations, and tragic decisions shaped the course of British history. With over 1,000 rooms, vast gardens, and great halls made of stone and carved wood, the palace feels like a fortress of whispers. The corridors stretch on endlessly, the ceilings are towering, and footsteps echo like someone is always behind you. It's open to the public for both day and nighttime tours. Some sections, especially the older wings, remain restricted. One of the most haunted spots is the infamous Gallery of the Grey Lady, where sightings have been reported for generations. The palace is so large it's easy to get disoriented, and its steep staircases can be dangerous. On cold days, condensation creates a strange mist indoors, amplifying the surreal atmosphere. The scent inside is a mix of aged wood, candle wax, and damp stone. Some rooms feel unnaturally cold, even in summer. One cracked stained glass window in the gallery has resisted every attempt at repair and draws particular attention from visitors. Historical records tell of violent executions, forced confinement, and disease. Popular accounts include a woman in white, believed to be one of Henry VIII's wives, seen wandering, her mind reportedly lost after being locked away. Today, Hampton Court is a national landmark featured in films and documentaries, but most who visit admit they never quite shake the feeling of being watched. If a palace already gives you chills, imagine what an entire island of history and torment might hold. Poveglia Island, Venice, Italy. Just south of Venice, Italy, lies a small island that even locals avoid. Poveglia. Uninhabited today, this eerie stretch of land carries centuries of fear, disease, and sorrow, all packed into less than 7 hectares. In the 18th century, Poveglia was used as a quarantine site for plague victims and others with infectious diseases. It's believed that thousands were sent there and never came back. In the 20th century, the island housed a psychiatric hospital, where darker stories began to circulate. Today, what remains are crumbling ruins, a central bell tower, and buildings overtaken by thick vegetation. Official entry is forbidden, but some private tours occasionally reach it by boat. Everything about the island feels abandoned. Getting around is tough. Pathways are blocked by debris, and plants have reclaimed most of the space. Locals claim the soil is still mixed with the ashes of the dead. There's almost no sound, just the wind, crashing water, and dry echoes from empty structures. The scent is salty and rotten, with moisture clinging to everything. Precise records of what occurred inside the hospital are scarce, but consistent rumors speak of abusive treatment and intense suffering. Folklore tells of screams at night and a shadowy figure lingering near the tower. Poveglia has become a legend, widely regarded as one of the most haunted islands on Earth. It's been featured in shows, books, and documentaries. Few who set foot there leave without feeling something clinging to them afterward. And if an island can shake you like that, the next house breathes pain with every step through its hallways. Whaley House, San Diego, United States. Right in the heart of San Diego, California, sits the Whaley House, a 19th century structure that has served as a home, courthouse, execution site, and even a theater. Maybe that's why it feels so full of echoes. Built in 1857 by Thomas Whaley, the house was never just a residence. It quickly became a multi-purpose building for both family life and public affairs, and through it all, it endured tragedy. It's a 2-story house with creaking wood floors, tight staircases, and large curtained windows. Today, it's open for tours, with many original items and furniture still in place. Once you step inside, the noise from the city vanishes. Some rooms remain exactly as they were over a century ago. One space in particular makes visitors instinctively pause, like something there doesn't want company. The air feels thick, scented with aged wood and faint perfume. Common reports include doors slamming on their own, whispered voices upstairs, and a woman standing silently by the staircase. Numerous paranormal teams have investigated the house, and some staff members refuse to work the night shift. Strangely, the house is nestled in a lively part of town, but everyone feels the weight shift as soon as they cross the threshold. And if you've made it this far, it means you're just as drawn to these haunted places as we are. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell. It helps us keep exploring the world's darkest corners. And if that was already heavy, the next stop takes us deep into medieval brutality. Leap Castle, County Offaly, Ireland. Nestled in the rolling hills of County Offaly, Ireland, Leap Castle is a 13th century fortress with a violent past and a reputation that makes even locals uneasy. Originally built as the residence of a noble family, the castle became the backdrop for internal power struggles and fatal confrontations. One of the most infamous tales involves a priest attacked during Mass, right inside the chapel. The castle is made of stone, with narrow staircases, secret passageways, and looming towers. One of the most feared spaces is the Bloody Chapel, where executions and brutal punishments once took place. Access is by appointment only. Inside, visitors navigate dim corridors and unstable sections of flooring. Many report dizziness or a heavy weight on the chest as soon as they enter. The air is cold and damp, with a sharp smell of moss and old stone. The basement still contains remnants of a mass grave, bones discovered in hidden chambers decades ago. Among all the chilling legends, the most unsettling is that of the elemental. a shadowy figure described as foul-smelling, shapeless, and deeply disturbing. Witnesses, including researchers and locals, have described seeing it move through walls or appear in photos. Today, the castle is privately owned by a musician who claims to coexist peacefully with its energy. Still, the stories have never stopped. If this place already made you pull back, the next one is a hospital that once treated minds and left many broken. Beechworth Lunatic Asylum, Victoria, Australia. Deep in Victoria, Australia, lies one of the country's largest and most feared psychiatric institutions, Beechworth Lunatic Asylum. Operating from 1867 to 1995, this hospital treated, often against their will, thousands of patients over more than a century. At its peak, the asylum housed over 1,000 people. Many were committed with little or no medical reason and spent the rest of their lives confined within its stone walls. The complex spans over 600 square meters, with separate male and female wings, underground tunnels, and vast courtyards. Today, parts of it are in ruins, while others have been preserved for guided night tours. Visitors enter through a creaking iron gate. Inside, the building retains bars on windows, peeling paint, and old medical files scattered in dusty drawers. The silence is intense, broken only by the whistle of wind through shattered glass. The air smells of mildew, rust, and old paint. One of the most haunting rooms is the isolation chamber, where people claim you can hear your own heartbeat in the dark. Historical records reveal harsh treatments by today's standards, including restraints, ice baths, and prolonged solitary confinement. Modern visitors report screams echoing at night, dark figures in hallways, and crushing pressure in certain rooms. The asylum is now a popular ghost tour location and the subject of several documentaries. One chilling detail: some guides still refuse to walk alone into the East Wing, even after decades. And if the tension has been rising for you so far, the next house sits quietly in one of the busiest cities in the world and holds a legacy of silent tragedy. The Death House, New York City, United States. In the heart of Manhattan's Upper West Side, a brownstone mansion stands quietly, its elegant exterior betraying the nickname it has carried for decades, the Death House. Built in the 19th century, this four-story home once belonged to wealthy New Yorkers. But a string of mysterious events that began in the 1930s changed everything. Accidents, sightings, and eventually a real-life tragedy that shocked the nation. Inside, the house features wooden staircases, stained glass, wide rooms, and a separate entrance to the basement. It's well preserved but still shrouded in silence. Neighbors often refuse to talk about it, though many have reported odd sounds or sudden temperature shifts while passing by. Access is private, but it's known that tenants change frequently. Most don't stay long. Some have claimed to hear footsteps on the upper floor while alone. Others have felt eyes watching from the staircase. One of the most notable stories dates back to the 1980s, when a resident was linked to a serious and disturbing event that took place inside. Since then, the house has remained under a cloud of suspicion and fear. The property is still residential, but its dark legend persists. Some city tours point it out as a haunted curiosity, and passers-by are often seen stopping across the street, looking but not daring to get too close. If a house like that can unsettle you in the middle of Manhattan, imagine what it's like to walk the halls of a French castle, where luxury shares space with the dead. Château de Brissac, Brissac-Quinsay, France. In the scenic Loire Valley of France stands one of the tallest castles in the country, Château de Brissac. With 7 floors and over 200 rooms, it's a towering masterpiece of nobility and a place haunted by a story that refuses to fade. The current structure dates back to the 15th century, built over the ruins of an older fortress. It's remained in the same aristocratic family for generations. But during the Middle Ages, a dramatic and violent confrontation between a nobleman and his wife left the castle forever changed. Constructed from stone and heavy wood, the castle features opulent banquet halls, cellars, a chapel, and tight corridors. Parts are open to public tours, but the upper levels remain private. Visitors often describe a strange mix of beauty and dread. The air smells of wax, velvet, and aging perfume. In some rooms, carpets absorb sound so completely that silence feels oppressive. The most famous ghost here is known as La Dame Verte, the Green Lady. Seen wearing a green dress with a distorted face, she is said to appear in hallways and bedrooms, especially late at night. Château de Brissac is frequently included on haunted property lists and has been the setting for several supernatural documentaries. But what strikes visitors most is the tension beneath the beauty, like something in the castle is simply waiting. And if that unsettled you, the next mansion was built with confusion in mind. A house designed to disorient or to protect. Winchester Mystery House, San Jose, United States. In San Jose, California, stands one of the most bizarre architectural feats in the country, the Winchester Mystery House. It's not just big, it's labyrinthine, illogical, and utterly unnerving. Construction began in 1884 under Sarah Winchester, widow of the rifle magnate. After the deaths of her husband and daughter, Sarah believed she was being haunted by the spirits of those killed by Winchester rifles. Advised by spiritualists, she started building and never stopped. The house features staircases that lead to nowhere, doors that open into walls, and hallways that twist upon themselves. It was all designed, according to Sarah, to confuse spirits. Today, the mansion has over 160 rooms, 10,000 windows, 47 fireplaces, and endless hidden passageways. It's built from wood and brick, with stained glass and unfinished spaces throughout. Even with a guide, navigating the house is confusing. Some sections appear identical, but with slight, unsettling differences, like the house is playing tricks. Reports include disembodied voices, footsteps with no source, and strange physical sensations like numbness or imbalance in certain areas. Some employees avoid specific wings entirely. The Winchester House is now one of the most visited paranormal sites in the U.S., raising questions about grief, guilt, and obsession. A house built to confuse or to defend. Still, nothing prepares you for what comes next. A castle so feared it was built not to keep people out, but to keep something inside. Hauska Castle, Blatz, Czech Republic. Deep in the Czech forest, far from roads and cities, stands Hauska Castle, a structure whose very purpose defies explanation. Built in the 13th century, the castle was constructed directly over a massive hole in the ground. Locals called it a gateway to hell. According to legend, prisoners were offered pardons if they agreed to be lowered into the pit. Those who returned were said to be permanently altered, terrified, mute, or physically twisted. Unlike typical fortresses, Hauska has no defensive purpose, no towers, no lookout points. Its walls face inward. Scholars believe it was built not to protect from outside forces, but to seal something beneath. Inside, the castle contains chapels, cells, and blocked tunnels. Frescoes on the walls depict unnatural figures, winged beasts, and eyeless faces. The main chapel sits directly above the sealed pit. The air feels unnatural. Sound echoes in odd ways. The cold is sharp and doesn't seem to shift with the seasons. Some claim to hear a low hum at the castle's core, subtle but constant. Modern-day reports speak of hooded figures, walls that seem to shift, and time distortions. People entering a room and feeling like hours have passed in moments. Hauska Castle is open to visitors, but it comes with warnings. It's not recommended for those sensitive to atmosphere. People go in, but they rarely leave unchanged. These aren't just historical landmarks. They're places that survived time and absorbed everything that happened inside them. Pain, grief, silence, and the unexplainable. They are physical reminders of what we can't fully understand and maybe never should. These places aren't just walls and ruins. They're living scars of what once happened and of what still lingers in the memories of those who dare to get too close. Now tell me, which of these properties would you dare to visit completely alone? Do you believe buildings can absorb the emotions of those who pass through them? If you could explore just one of these sites, which one would it be and why? If you enjoyed this journey through the world's most haunted properties, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell. That helps the channel grow and ensures more dark, eerie, and unforgettable stories are coming your way. Until the next dive into the unknown.